This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get up, get up, get up. Let's go. The NHL, she is back. She is back, baby. We are ready to go for July 13th, Monday, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about training camps opening up. The NHL, the NHLPA have ratified that MOUA or MUA or whatever the heck it was that they had to do to get the paperwork filed and done today. It's done. It's agreed upon. We've got hockey starting on the 13th. My goodness, that is the best news we could possibly have gotten on a Friday in which it's 20 friggin' degrees in southern Alberta and there ain't a severe thunderstorm warning for the first time all week. Let me take it that is great news, my friends. So that's literally all I got for you. You know what? I don't even think there's been much more Oilers news. Pretty much everybody's back in Phase 2, so we're ready to head full force into Phase 3 on Monday, and it's going to be a great time to get the NHL back and get this 2019-2020 season concluded and everything done. Obviously, playoffs begin, I think, the opening night of the qualifying round, opening day, because they're talking about 3 games per day. The opening day, August 1st, so we are, a whole 21 days away, 3 weeks away from the NHL opening up shop again to live hockey games on your television set. There's talk about exhibition games on TV and stuff. You are kidding me if I end up missing one of those because of being up in Cold Lake. I will do my dang best to find a place, find a way to live stream whatever exhibition games come our way, just as I have all regular season and preseason, and just as we would for the postseason anyway in the next following days. So ladies and gentlemen, August 1st, the Saturday, 21 days to go, and then calendar rolls to August 1st, and we've got our precious NHL back. And I'm sorry, you know what, it's been a long journey since March 12th. I mean, it still feels somehow like it is March in a way, and here we are now squarely in the dead of August. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're from Alberta, and rise up if you're from Alberta, because we get to host the NHL playoffs right there in the capital city of Edmonton this year, and we get to hoist, as Oilers fans, our first Stanley Cup since 1990 on home ice. It doesn't get much better than that, but take a rise if you're from Edmonton, because my friends, or Alberta, what am I talking about? See, I'm getting all heated up. If you're from Alberta, because, you know what, we've done a fantastic job of getting to this point, right? It has been a long journey, but here we are. Alberta's come through, pulled through, just as we always do anytime we get challenged. And you know what, it might still feel like it's March, but dang, we've pulled through a very tough time. And you know what? All this tough time and stuff, the hardest part about it is we didn't have our escapism. I've said throughout this whole time, I've said throughout the whole, you know what, when everybody was all worried about the election back in October and in the Alberta election, whatever, in May or whatever last year, you know what? Don't come onto my doorstep here on YouTube talking about that stuff. Leave that elsewhere. You know what? The newspapers, the Facebook, wherever you discuss that, leave that there. We come here to talk Oilers. We come here because sports is our escapism. And finally, after all of this craziness going through and still going through, that's the crazy part. We are still going through it, and we will continue to be going through it as we unfold this NHL playoffs. But my friends, you know what? At least we will have our escapism back on our television sets for us to enjoy. Sure, there won't be 18,000 of us jamming into Rogers Place every night to enjoy a hockey game, but you know what? We'll do what we can do with the best of what we can do, and we'll hang out here on Dolynny TV, or if you want to hang out in another live stream, you're more than welcome to. I'm not saying you have to be here every night. I just want to enjoy this with you, and I want to sit here and absolutely light up the playoffs. As we all know, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Kyler Yamamoto, Mike Smith, Mikko Koskinen, and Oscar Klefbom, Darren Elders. You want me to name the roster? They're all ready to go. This is go time. The only number that I have to give you right here, right now, that makes any bit of a difference to anything, and I've already closed the tab, so what does it matter? Let me reopen it here and get this for you. But the only matter of the number that matters is that the NHLPA membership voted 502 to 135. That's nearly 79%. Bob McKenzie follows that up with a tweet that it's 78.8% of the players want this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is an outstanding majority in any time of consensus when it comes to voting nowadays. So, here we have ourselves a 78.8% majority to return. That is enough to return. The NHL Board of Governors voted to return, and starting on Monday, we've got a nice weekend. I hope it's going to be nice in Alberta. I hope across Canada and around the world, wherever you are, that it's going to be nice for you this weekend, because I'm sorry, put your summer on pause. We've had a good one so far. You know what? It's been all right. It hasn't been the greatest down here, but it's been good elsewhere. Put your summer on pause, because we are going for a ride. And let me tell you, it's going to be an absolute blast to have you along here on Dolynny TV if you so choose to come on the ride. That is the Edmonton Oilers' quest for the 2020 Stanley Cup this season. I've already promised you, they're lifting it. I don't see it any other way. You know what? Blind faith in the fact that it's going to happen ain't the worst thing, considering what kind of crazy stuff has happened. I'll reason with you here. I was thinking about this today at work, and this is what I'm going to kind of sit on for anytime anyone that isn't an Oilers fan says, Tyson, there is absolutely no way possible that the Oilers win the Stanley Cup. They're not ready. They aren't this. They aren't that. They aren't a winning team. Oh, slow down. Anything that's happened in 2020 was a possibility to you? Did you? Trust me. You ask average Joe in Edmonton if he thought that he was going to be locked down for a couple months and have to figure out how to live. Well, trust me, nobody counted that as a possibility as early back as December 2019. But there we were in March, April, locked down in our houses, all wondering, hey, can I even go see my kids, my family, my sister, my brother? The tough questions that were asked. And you know what? Here we are now. We have people asking if the Oilers can win the Stanley Cup. Anything's possible. Let's go. The Oilers absolutely can, because you know what? We've had some strange things happen. And if you're not an Oilers fan, the strangest thing to happen in the NHL this season would be the Oilers winning the Stanley Cup. So by 2 + 2 = 4, the Oilers are winning the Stanley Cup if you're not an Oilers fan. And by Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and the cast and crew of the Edmonton Oilers are the best hockey team we've watched in a while on Edmonton Oilers ice, whether it be Rexall Place or Rogers Place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as an Oilers fan, the Oilers are winning the Stanley Cup. Best part about this, whether you're an Oilers fan or you're not an Oilers fan, 2 + 2 = 4, or the best team, whatever you want to say, well, guess what? The Oilers are winning the Stanley Cup on Rogers Place ice, and we get to watch it on TV. That's the sucky part, all right? Yeah, you know what? It would be absolutely awesome for 18,000 of us to be able to sit there in the stands and enjoy it. But this wacky, wonderful, crazy world we're all living in, at least we get to watch it on TV. That is the beautiful part about, you know what? We live in crazy times, but we live in crazy good times at the same time. So it's been a crazy journey, but here we are. We are clear to play. I guess the normal saying would be clear for takeoff, but we are clear to play hockey. And oh my goodness, like I said, you know what? It's a beautiful day. I had the window cranked down all the way up to QE2, sitting there blasting country music as I roll down the slow lane, because to heck with getting a speeding ticket on a Friday afternoon when I got to come home and do this video and get fired up. And hey, you know what? I wasn't going to let anything ruin my good time, and it is a great time to be a hockey fan. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a great time to be an Oilers fan, because as of today, we start our quest for our first Stanley Cup since 1990, and our first Stanley Cup on home ice, I believe, since 1988, if I've got the correct math. I don't know if I do. I might be wrong, but it is what it is at this point. I've gone through a lot already in this video, but how good does that feel? That's all I got to say, is it feels absolutely good. Now, the last thing is players opting out, and it doesn't sound like any of our guys will be doing it based on who's all here, but players will have until 5 p.m. Eastern time on Monday to exercise their penalty-free right to opt out of the 2019-2020 return to play. Must do so in writing to the NHLPA, and, of course, with anything NHL related, the NHL Central Registry, which you only really hear on July 1st and trade deadline day, but here's another option of how it's going to be used in this situation. Guys, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Go enjoy your weekend. Have a great one. You'll hear updates from me, don't you worry. But let's have a good weekend and get back to the grind on Monday. Let's go.